Okay, so in the last video, I was standing and showing you what the outside hip muscles do to stabilize you while you're in standing. So here we're going to look at a couple different ways to work on those muscles to help you find them and activate them. They're actually kind of sneaky, okay? So learning to wake them up to activate them is really important. So I'm lying down on my side. Have something for your head, a pillow, a blanket, something so that you're fairly stable and relaxed here. And then stack yourself so your hips are one on top of the other, knees bent. So I'm in hook lying, kind of how a lot of us crawl into bed to go to sleep, right? And then my focus is going to be on keeping the hips stacked on one another as I lift the top knee. So many of us know this as a clam exercise because it's like a clamshell opening. So what we usually see is that people lift the leg by rolling backwards. So see how then it ends up just being a whole body turn. And what you really want to do is stabilize. So there is some muscle action that happens, even pelvic floor a little bit, where you're kind of holding yourself stable. You can put your hand on your hip here to just kind of help you feel that. And just see how much you can lift the knee without rolling backwards. It's actually much harder than you think, okay? So you might have to come down and recorrect. Sometimes lifting on an exhalation is easier, so lift and hold there. Maybe check yourself, say, oh, maybe I rolled back, roll forward again and lift the knee a little higher. You'll really feel these outer hip muscles turn on. Then you can hold 5-10 seconds. Like I said, it's harder than you think, so 10 seconds can be a long time. And then you would come down. And you would do that on both sides. If you're doing the isometric hold, where you're keeping it in one place, so I'm not having you do a bunch of reps. I want you to focus more on that hold to help you find and feel the muscle. You only need to do it 2 or 3 times because each time you'll hold it as long as you can without compensating, which would look like that. See how I fell backwards? Okay, so that's number 1. That's called a clam. The second exercise, you would start from the exact same position. Bottom leg stays where it is. Top leg straightens out. Okay? And then bring it back a little bit. So imagine that I was drawing a line from my head to my hip all the way out my foot. It's in a straight line. Put your hand on your hip to make sure you don't bend at the waist. So it's at the top of my pelvis. You can let the leg go down to the table and only lift it up as high as you can without bending at the waist. And then you can lift and hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, you can hold it for 5-10 seconds and then come down and then do that several times. Here, what you want to watch for, and the reason I have this hand here, is that you don't lift the leg by dipping the waist in. So this is kind of like your little watchdog, so that this doesn't happen. This would be incorrect. See how I bent here? So I put this hand here to sort of keep my pelvis away from my waist, which isolates the motion in the hip. And then also just make sure that that leg stays back, that it doesn't come way forward. So when you come down, when you fatigue, it'll probably migrate forward. So come down and rest, recheck, reposition, and then come up again. Okay, so those are 2 great ways to work on your gluteus medius muscle, the outer hip muscles, to work on hip health as well as knee health. Okay, I hope that helps. You can do this on the bed. Ideally, you would be on a floor because the firm surface gives you more stability, but if you are not comfortable getting on the floor, then you just do it on your bed.